It's the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. Good morning. It is Thursday, July the 13th. It is, as I just mentioned, July the 13th. The month of July, a huge month for travel. Anybody going on vacation anytime soon? Anybody already come back from vacation? You know, this is the time of year to get out and do what you do. And we're gonna let you know that we're all for it. Go have a great time. Get away. Go to the mountains. Go to the beaches. Go to some flea markets. Whatever it is. Get away. Unplug. Check out. Get your vacation. Refresh yourself. But make sure when you're checking into that Airbnb or when you're looking at it online that you get a lot of pictures. And by the way, always, always, always stay away from an Airbnb with no guest reviews. That's the lesson of the day.
Yeah.
A professor from from the University of California, Berkeley, was in London, and he has shared the photos of his Airbnb experience online. He checked in to what he calls an Airbnb. It's a one-bedroom apartment, and the apartment is essentially a bed in a bathroom, or if you prefer, the loo. I put my bed in the loo and called it an Airbnb, didn't I? He checked into a Airbnb, which is literally a bathroom. There's a toilet, there's a sink, there's a glassed-in corner shower, and there's a bed, all in one tiny room. And this is what he's paying for.
Cozy.
Kind of cozy. He's gone to Airbnb publicly, and they're like, of course you get the message, thanks for reaching out to us, David. Please send us a DM, and we'll deal with this. I just saw that and thought, man, I mean, I've walked into hotel rooms, also in England, where as I opened the door of the room, it hit the bed. The door itself slammed into the foot of the bed.
Yeah.
You cannot fully open the door. But this is like in smaller towns, rural England. The hotel's been there forever, and it's just, that's a little quaint. That's a little charming. You can go, oh, well, that's England. But this guy's right in the middle of London. It's a pretty metropolitan city. It's a hip place. And nobody said, oh, by the way, no, your bed and your toilet, you can do two things at once here. You can lay on your side and you can pee. Yeah. And it's fine. You just got to watch your aim. I used to think for years on the road, touring around, living life with a perpetual hangover, I thought they should invent a bed with a hole in the middle that leads right to the pipe so I can just roll over and pee without having to stand up.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, those are the kind of things I used to think about. Didn't have a thought about tech or how to help humanity other than just give me a bed that I can pee in safely and in a clean manner. But anyway, Airbnbers, you got to do the research. And I think Airbnb is a great concept. Obviously, it's a very successful business model, but occasionally things do go awry. I don't think to look for Airbnb. If I go anywhere, my first thought is to get a hotel. I just think it's a better idea to have people on hand that you can yell at if you need to. Candace, you're part of the Airbnb generation. I've just now named your generation the Airbnb generation. I hope that sticks.
Sure.
You're an Airbnb gal. Anything ever go awry?
Yeah, I mean...
Look how happy she is. Yeah, as a matter of fact, it has.
Well, I went on a really nice girls' trip a few years ago to Arizona.
Okay.
To Flagstaff. And it was a really, really nice Airbnb where there was a hot tub and, it was really cute in there, whatever.
Right.
But, they made the point to say that you need to use, a certain kind of toilet paper.
Okay.
Which we did, but then we ran out of it. And then someone brought toilet paper, so I guess technically maybe it was our fault. But one morning...
So wait, they gave you specifications for what sort of toilet paper to use?
I guess. I didn't book the Airbnb.
Right.
This is what I was told by my friend.
Okay.
But, so this is what happened.
So then she went off market when replenishing the stock.
So it was our last night, and there was a bathroom downstairs. All the rooms were upstairs.
It's always the last night.
My friend Shelby goes down to the bathroom. She's probably listening right now in the basement to go to the bathroom. And I guess when she flushed, everything just shot up and hit her butt.
Shelby!
And just
Nice
it
bidet.
started flooding and
surprising
there was
bidet.
poop all. It was crazy.
Yeah.
It was crazy. It
What was
was
she
amazing.
using? Like paper towels for toilet paper?
I think that she just went pee, and I think she was just unlucky. I think that it was just a lot of buildup in there. And
Maybe
then
it was just an actual hand towel she was using.
What, they only give you like 8 rolls? How did you, were you there for 6 months? How did you run out of toilet
we were there
paper?
for like 4 days, and
right.
there was not enough.
All right.
I was at an older B&B in Martha's Vineyard, and they had the same thing. They had to use a certain kind of paper because the pipes were really old. It was a very old house.
Right. So what is a certain by brand or a 2-ply, single ply? What is that? When they say only use, do they say only use Charmin Ultra, or is it like only use a? Do they give you a brand name or do they give you a description? I've just never encountered anywhere where they told me what I could or couldn't wipe my ass with.
Yeah, I'm assuming it was just the 1-ply, right? What is it called? Or what's the
Tissue
thinnest,
paper?
The thinnest.
What was that stuff they make
Rice
floats
paper.
out of? Yeah, that stuff you punch your finger through. So then you just end up, they think, well, if they'll use less of it, it'll clog. But then you use like half a roll. You just wad it up in your hands, and just, go down there with the big wad. But
we hope you enjoy your stay. Now, remember, we only recommend superfine sandpaper for the
right.
toilets.
So did Shelby shower afterwards?
No, you're right.
No,
No.
I didn't think so.
It was crazy though. Like,
Wait, Shelby
all of a sudden
didn't
we go-
shower afterwards?
we hear like from the basement bathroom, like it exploded almost.
Old poopy
and
Shelby.
we were all hungover and stuff, and it was just not cool, man.
Well, so if it got all poopy, then what guy came by earlier to do that? Because girls don't poop, do they?
oh yeah, and I forgot.
Yeah, right. So Shelby, so I'm sorry, I have to get clarification. Shelby did not shower after this incident.
Shelby.
I didn't ask. It's her business.
well, just flush one more time. Maybe you get the bidet action going there. I don't know.
It was a lot.
It
That's
sounds
weird.
like a lot.
Airbnbs, I think they've gotten, now I just stay at Airbnbs that are basically conglomerates, own all these apartments, so I'm just getting an apartment instead of a hotel room. But
Yeah.
I started out with the Airbnb thing almost right away. I just thought, a home, if I'm going to stay there for a couple of weeks, traveling, working, that sort of thing. But it was weird, if you'd show up and it was someone's house. Oh, you're in the basement. No, no. I could do that, when I'm 20 and on the road and trying to stay somewhere for $1, get away with what I can. But now but now the corporate places all have monitors in there. They're listening to you.
Of course they are.
They're noise monitors, yeah.
Well, I can tell you this, a couple things, Candace. First of all, thanks for giving me a new word for toilet problems. That will now be forever a Shelby.
Poor Shelby.
Oh, no, man. I'm all Shelby'd up back there. No. Don't go to the guest room. There's a Shelby situation. So thank you, Candace. And more importantly, thank you, Shelby. And secondly, if you're going to have a situation like that happen, do you want it on the first day or the last day of the vacation?
Last day for sure.
Last day for sure? Yeah, you don't, because if it happens the first day, you see it as an omen or it's setting the table for a series of misfortunes. If it happens on the last day, you can say, well, we had 4 good days and then one. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
to
you're
me.
right. I should be grateful.
You should be grateful. We should all be grateful. Thank you, Shelby, for your service to the KQ Morning Show.
It was wild.
All right.
Wow. Okay, so I'm still. I was just I just doesn't even. My wife has said a few times, and the kids have say like, well, Dad, just get an Airbnb, and I always just go, no. I don't know. There's something about it. I'm just so conditioned to have like a front desk and a key card and
Pool.
Crappy TV.
Yeah, I mean all those things. I spent so long in so many hotels. The idea of just going to someone's house or an apartment and not sure how you get in, and they just text you a code and you walk into I just think it's a setup. I always think I'm going to walk into an Airbnb apartment and there's going to be a guy standing there with a bag and a passport and a gun. He's going to go sit down. We have to talk, and I'm going to go. That doesn't happen at a Garden Inn.
No, but that happens about half the time at Airbnbs. I mean, you really are. That's living on the edge. You're rolling the dice. It's sketchy at best.
50% of the time.
About half the time.
About half the Airbnb things you turn into an unwitting mule. Good to know.
Yeah, it is true.
That's science.
All right. Speaking of an unwitting mule, Mike Evans' Hollywood Report is coming up here at 6:30. Please hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Thursday, July the 13th. We just heard The Doors, Hello, I Love You. There was a kid in L.A. who was hanging around the Sunset Strip when The Doors hit it big, and he went on to, he got close to the band, befriended the band, ended up being one of their, what do you call them, mules. He was the guy holding the bag anywhere they went, and he never, ever got in trouble. He's got one of the most successful careers of being a band's drug courier ever. And oddly enough, his name is Mike Evans, and he's here with the Hollywood Report right now. Did I get that story right, Mike? Did I get that right?
Come on, man. Little problem in some of the details.
Okay, all right, I'm sorry. Well, please feel free to correct me, or if you had something else on your mind, then we're all ears.
Hey, I got a lot to talk about today, but I want to set the record straight. I always want to do that, and kudos to Candace, People Magazine, TMZ, Access Hollywood, and myself. Some others as well got duped by a clickbaiter hacker who got in and told stories about Rainn Wilson. All these major people had it, and then it came to fact that this guy that broke the story was talking through his butt.
So
anyway,
so the story was the Rainn Wilson, the guy from The Office, was quoted as saying he was miserable and should have had a bigger career. You told us that story, and just to clarify, Candace was like, nah, clickbait, not buying it.
Yeah.
And we all chuckled and went, oh, poor innocent Candace, she's so naive. And she was on the money is what you're telling me.
Yeah, what I'm telling you is she's on Facebook a lot because that's where Rainn went on immediately late the night before and said it was all a bunch of sheep dip.
Well, Mike, watch your back. Sounds like Candace is looking for your gig.
No, she aims a lot higher than that. Sure. Hey, today is National French Fries Day. What's your favorite French fry?
My favorite French fry? Wow. A McDonald's fry from the 70s.
God, they were good, weren't they?
They used to be so good.
Oh, they
Man.
were good. I got a love nugget in reverse. Word is, since Michael Jordan has had very unflattering things to say about Marcus dating Scottie Pippen's much older ex-wife.
Oh, yeah, his son Marcus is dating Pippen's ex. What a bizarre thing.
Well, Marcus now has stopped talking to his dad, but let's face it, a man will take a woman's side over a parent's side every time. I mean,
yeah, and here's another thing we should face. You think it's easy being Michael Jordan's son?
No.
I'm gonna venture no.
I guarantee it's even harder being Magic Johnson's son.
Those guys are not. Well, I don't know about Magic. Michael ain't no warm and fuzzy. I tell you, he. Ooh, boy.
Television news, Fox keeps trying to get their way around the writer's strike. Part of their new lineup, they just announced Lego Masters, Kitchen Nightmares, Hell's Kitchen, Special Forces, World's Toughest, Name That Tune, Bet Your Life, the Gordon Ramsay Food Stars, TMZ Primetime, Jennifer Hudson Show, and NFL. I mean, they don't need writers for that.
No, what they might as well take out a billboard that says, go ahead and cut the cable now.
I would think so.
I couldn't care less about any of that.
The Screen Actors Guild will vote to strike today.
Do it, Screen Actors Guild. Do it.
1 o'clock. Simpson news. Jessica Simpson. She's considering rekindling her music career. What do you think of that?
Yes, do it.
Well, I'm going to back Candace here. I'll be on the Yes Do It platform. Who are we talking about?
Jessica Simpson.
Oh, okay. I remember. What happened to her? She just left, huh?
She's the youngest child of the Simpsons.
She
right?
just
No.
she just walked off stage one day and never went back. What's she been doing?
She
Chilling.
has made millions and millions of dollars in Europe selling cosmetics.
Yes.
The Jessica Simpson.
Well, they'll put anything on their
And
face in
shoes,
Europe.
too, yeah.
I met her at Herberger's back when I was like 10. And she
Herberger's?
had
What?
like a really fun makeup beauty product line that you could eat,
and
an
she was
edible
very
one.
successful. Yeah. O.J. Simpson news. Old killer had at least one stent put into his heart. And by the way, interesting, O.J. occasionally visits his 54-year-old daughter, Arlene, and his 52-year-old son, Jason. O.J. had Arlene and Jason with his first wife, Marguerite. But they also had a daughter named Erin who died when she was 2 years old in a swimming pool accident. However, O.J. rarely sees, ready for this? Rarely sees his daughter Sydney, who is now 37 years old.
Wow.
And Justin is 35 years old, the two children he had with Nicole. This is a funny story. You may have heard it. Leonardo DiCaprio mentioned it the other day, so I thought I'd just remind everybody, when shooting the Titanic, the movie, the Titanic, during the scenes inside the ship, when the ship was filling full of water and people were panicking and trying to get out, James Cameron told the cast before they started shooting that 40-minute scene, there's no time for a bathroom break, just pee in the water. Huh?
Yeah. Hey, man, you got to get it done.
There you go.
We got, it's perfect light right now. We can't, we're burning daylight. Just pee in the water, folks. Let's go.
Just let it go.
Action.
And the mustard has come off the Disney hot dog, Steve. I mean, it's amazing. The movies are tanking. The stocks have lost over half of their value in 18 months.
Okay.
Disney Plus has gone from 90 million subscribers to 75 million subscribers. Theme parks have raised their prices again to $185. Fewer people are going to the theme parks. This past 4th of July had the smallest attendance at Disney parks than any 4th of July in history.
$185 to walk in the door?
To walk in the door.
Nah, that's not good.
June 2022. Last June, the average time to wait in line for a ride was 47 minutes. This past June, a few weeks ago, average time to wait for a ride, 27 minutes. I mean, people just aren't going. 7,000 people fired in the last 12 months. Here's my prediction, Steve. Apple will buy Disney in the next 2 years. Break it up. Six Flags will get the parks. I think Netflix will get the ESPN. I mean, they'll break it all up. Apple, I think, will buy Disney in the next 2 years.
Wow. I'm writing that one down, Mike. And when it happens, believe me, we will have a Mike Evans day on the KQ Morning Show.
That'd be good. And finally, some conspiracy nuts say that that's not Jamie Foxx in Chicago we've been seeing. It's a double.
I said that yesterday. It's a lookalike.
Oh,
yeah.
that's freaky.
That story's getting bigger. Really? They say because he hasn't talked to the media. How do we know it's really him?
You never listen to me, Mike. You never hear a word I say.
After I hung up, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I look to you for advice and for tutorage, actually.
Well, I'm glad someone does.
Hey, everybody, have a great day. Be safe. Talk to you tomorrow from Hollywood. See you.
Thank you, Mike Evans. Okay, a couple thoughts here. I'm not surprised that O.J. Simpson doesn't really speak to his son and daughter with Nicole very often. It's a weird conversation when you find yourself saying words like, God, you look so much like that woman I killed. I just think that tends to distance family members.
Yeah.
And then secondly, I have to go back. I'm sorry, Candace. Her burgers?
You don't know what Her Burgers is?
Yeah, edible makeup.
Her burgers.
Not fur burgers.
As in H-E-R, a burger place where you get cheeseburgers?
No. It
Her
was
burgers?
the best freaking retail store around.
Oh. I was literally like, these aren't for him. These are her burgers. I was like, what? I missed this feminist burger shop.
It was like Macy's, but they tanked because I worked there for a few years, and they tanked because they just pretty much gave away their clothes with coupons and stuff. But yeah, Jessica Simpson was there when I was younger in the Her Burgers in Richfield, and she had this makeup line that you could eat. It was like an edible, like vanilla body lotion. It was very interesting.
A makeup line for toddlers who put everything in their mouth anyway.
It was the 90s, man. I don't know.
What was it called? Do you remember?
I can find out.
I have to ask you a question. Now we've been doing this show together for half a year, and it just occurred to me. Was there anything that didn't happen in Richfield in the 90s? It sounds like I missed out on some incredible life experiences not being in Richfield, Minnesota in the 90s.
Yeah, you did, man. And it was called Dessert.
What? I'm sorry, what was they changed the name from Dessert to Richfield?
No, the Jessica Simpson's
her makeup
beauty
line.
is called Dessert. And then my mom saw Jessica Simpson when she was dating John Mayer at Bunkers. And she had brown hair. She dyed her hair brown. This was probably 5 years later. And she went up and got an autograph for me because she knew how much I loved Jessica Simpson. And it was on a brown paper bag.
Jessica, you met my daughter at Her Burgers 5 years ago. I remember her. Little kid who likes to go to horse camp. I remember her totally. Yeah, that horse threw her. Oh, that was so scary. Is she doing well? You and Jess, BFFs ever since.
90s.
The 90s were lit, man. That is fantastic. I am so ready for a just deep dive into Richfield in the 90s with Candace Wheeler. Let's do an offshoot podcast where we just drive around Richfield and whatever memories pop up, you just go, girl.
Oh my God, no.
All that excitement and then no.
I'm busy.
All right. Well, let's see. We do have some business to take care of. I got a Shelby during the break next. I got to think about.
Oh my God.
I tell you what. Let's look back. 1972. In 1972, yours truly, Steve Gorman, was about to turn 7. I lived in Severna Park, Maryland, and I loved two things in life more than anything not named the Beatles, and that was the Baltimore Orioles and the Baltimore Colts. And on this day in 1972, Carol Rosenblum, owner of the Baltimore Colts, that's like Carol O'Connor, a dude named Carol. Don't picture a woman who looks like Alice Brady here, or Carol Brady. Carol Rosenblum, owner of the Baltimore Colts, traded his team to Robert Irsay, the owner of the Rams. They swapped franchises. You hear about player swaps. In minor league hockey, you hear about, I got traded for a bag of pucks. They traded teams, the Rams and the owners. They didn't change a single thing about either team other than the owner. They just said, hey, I want to get out of Baltimore. And Irsay was like, I want to get to Baltimore. They just traded teams. That's crazy. Nothing like that's ever happened before or since. And boy, did that not turn out well for the Baltimore Colts fans. Just going to say, Carol Rosenblum, thanks, bro. You could have sold it to someone who wouldn't gut our hearts like fish. He field dressed the central nervous system of Colts fans in 1984. But I digress.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, Candace, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It's Thursday, July the 13th. The month of July, just like the month of June before it, and the month of August after it, a lot of travel. People get that summer vacation going on. They have themselves a good time. We were talking about an Airbnb story this morning. A guy from California went to London, got into his Airbnb, and it was basically a bed in a bathroom, in a lavatory. That was the entire apartment. There's like one bedroom apartment or one bed right next to the toilet. Right. Or if you prefer, turlet. I take either pronunciation.
The turlet?
The loo. It was it's just one of those things. And then we started talking about bizarre stories that happen when you travel. You know, I'm old school. I tend to go with the hotel route. Just that's what I know. Candace had a Shelby situation in Arizona. Friends, a bunch of girls in a place. They used the wrong ply toilet paper. One thing leads to another. And then our dear friend Shelby is covered in her own stink. Toilets explode sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes.
It wasn't her fault.
Poor
I'm
Shelby.
not saying it was her fault.
Did you use the wrong toilet paper?
I'm just giving you the news, okay? I'm just giving you the headlines. This is not the op-ed page. I'm not assigning blame to anybody. Yeah. I'm just glad to know what we call a clogged toilet now, and that is, of course, a Shelby.
I read one this morning. An Airbnb guest found a corpse in the garden out back.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually pretty
corpse's name was Shelby.
Right, but that was over in France. So, I mean, I think that's fairly common.
The number of dead people I've seen in France, I mean, come on.
Boy, it reeks.
On the KQRS Facebook page, someone posted this. Went to a Black Crow show years ago at a small venue in Maplewood. The hotel next door was absolutely filthy and should have been condemned. We stayed as we'd been drinking. My friend woke up to a rash covering his body from simply staying in the room. I woke up to expensive jewelry being stolen sometime during the night, too. While leaving, we saw a man throwing up in the parking lot. I believe the hotel was shut down not too long after. And I read that just to let you know that the magic of the Black Crows continues to spread throughout the greater Twin Cities community. Glad we could be of service.
Yeah.
Man. If I woke up if I'm in a Fleabag hotel, you know it's a Fleabag hotel when you go to sleep, but if you wake up and you're covered in a body rash, that's not something you can, I wouldn't take that, I wouldn't be happy, I wouldn't be cool about it. I mean, I'd be a little wound up is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I know a buddy that came home with crabs. You know, you don't get crabs in exactly in the hotel, and he was working out of town, and his wife went nuts. But he misreported. It turns out it wasn't crabs when he went into the dock, but his wife had already moved into a hotel.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, I know. They got back together. The kids are doing, I guess, I don't know. I haven't seen them in a few years, but the kids, I think, are doing well. But it turns out it was lice. So he was wrong. He came home and said he had crab. I'm like, why would you say you had crabs? He goes, I forgot the word for lice. Oh, okay. He goes, I just knew I had critters all over my body. But it turns out there was lice, and the hotel reported that there was a lice incident. He's like, hold on, let me get my wife on the phone. But it turns out it was a lice thing, so not good.
Yeah, no, crabs, having crabs, those words should only be used when discussing someone else, regardless of the experience. Yeah, always go with lice. You get sympathy for lice, you get condemnation for crabs. Them's the breaks, kids. Mm-hmm. These are the rules. I don't make them up. And speaking of kids and speaking of summer travel, check this out. A kid from North Carolina booked himself a flight from Gainesville, Florida to New York City. And on that flight, there was a brief layover in Charlotte, North Carolina. Now, check this out. When he checked in for his flight, the gate agent in Florida said, "Where you going, Junior?" And the kid said, "I'm going to New York." Okay. And the kid said, "I connect in Charlotte on my way to New York. Can I see some ID?" The kid pulls out a North Carolina driver's license. And the gate agent says, "Hey, you're not thinking of getting off that plane in Charlotte and not connecting to New York, are you?" And the kid goes, "No, what are you talking about?" So there's this thing people do called skip lagging. Mm-hmm. And that is oftentimes a flight. If you want to go somewhere, you can find a flight somewhere else that's cheaper with a connection in your ultimate destination. Mm. This kid booked the flight. To fly to Charlotte nonstop, one leg, was more expensive than to fly to New York via Charlotte because airline prices make no sense. So he could get on a flight to Charlotte and connect to New York for cheaper than the flight just to Charlotte where he wanted to go anyway.
Yeah.
So he was, in fact, planning to walk off in Charlotte and not continue on to New York. The gate agent, the person that checked him in, saw that North Carolina driver's license and went, "Let me butt into this poor kid's life and see if that's what he's planning to do." He denied the plan, but eventually airline officials pulled him aside and grilled him, and he finally copped.
What the hell?
He finally copped to it and said, "Yeah, I am actually planning to get off in Charlotte. It's cheaper."
I mean,
his ticket was immediately canceled. His parents had to then buy him a new nonstop ticket to Charlotte day of, so it's doubly expensive, even more so. He, along with most of us, did not realize it's a violation of American Airlines rules. And other airlines have the same rule. It's a violation to get off midway through a journey.
That's just smart shopping.
It is smart shopping.
Yeah.
If you're going to give this kid a ticket to New York, cheap with 2 flights, cheaper than a nonstop to Charlotte, where the first part of his other ticket's already going, that's a you problem to me.
Yeah, it's a crock. I'm sorry. A traveler found a very small little loophole to save just a few bucks on these jacked prices and fantastic revenues there. I know airlines are always broke, but you always get bailed out, so it's not like you're going under. Everyone's getting their bonus this year. And you have your unions, and it's all very well taken care of. And I'm not, I don't want to blast the airlines, but on this particular practice for really going hardcore after the kid that was skip lagging.
Right.
All right.
I'll blast the airlines all day long.
2 fingers for you.
What? By the way, gate agent. What do you? How many brownie points do you have from the airline for busting a kid trying to save some extra money?
Well, you got him.
You're the one guy that watched that video in the HR package?
Yeah.
If you notice someone traveling through a city and that's where his driver's license is from, go ahead and call the authorities. That's insanity to me. And by the way, and here's my thing. I need airlines. We all do. We travel. And I'm not just a big, they all suck. I know people that work for airlines in various capacities, and it's an impossible, thankless job. That said, the people that run these things, look, they were printing money from 2015 to 2020. All the airlines were. Travel was through the roof, as they say in certain parts of the world. Everybody in the airline industry was fat and happy. And what did they do with all that surplus money? They bought back their own stock. You didn't put it aside for a rainy day like a pandemic where you fired all of your employees because you didn't have any money. You could have had billions of dollars in reserve, but instead you bought back your own stock to make your stockholders that much richer. So, that part, that's what bugs me. You have weather delays. You got a breakdown of a plane. I understand that. Your pilot is sick and it throws everything out of whack. Great. But don't tell me skip lagging is going to be you're canceling tickets because an 18-year-old kid was saving $78.
Cracking down hard. By the way, do you have a fake ID for the next time you fly out of Minneapolis?
Yeah, really.
Oh, Steve Gorman. Hey, it's the guy that doesn't like airlines. Which is not what you're saying at all. I'm on your side here. I think we all are skip lagging. You busted the kid down, so he didn't get on his flight. The parents now have to buy a much more expensive ticket because it's last second, and I love that. Now the ticket that was $400 3 weeks ago for the same seat on the same airline is now $800.
I'm thinking of only booking flights through cities where I want to go just to wait till they get busted myself. I'm just going to start doing that. See what happens, and I'll have that. I'll make sure my smartphone microphone is turned on when the dude in the red jacket goes, "Excuse me, Mr. Gorman, would you step over here, please?" God, it makes me nuts. I'll tell you what else makes me. So again, now I'm going to defend an airline. Are you ready for this?
All right.
Speaking of summer travel,
It's pivoting.
I am because it's just this stuff winds me up. A business class passenger on an international flight. Business class international is nothing but nice. It is very sweet. It's better than what you would see in a first class domestic ticket. Like this flight was going from Houston to Amsterdam on United, and the people sitting in business class, that's an expensive ticket. It's a very nice seat. It's all the bells and whistles. A gentleman was on this flight. Again, Houston to Amsterdam. Long flight. They didn't have the meal that he had requested. His dinner, instead of the, chicken tartare or whatever the hell he ordered.
Chicken tartare.
Oh, they just
Raw
give you all these weird, whatever. I don't know. Instead of whatever the heck he wanted, they said, I'm sorry, all we have is the fill in the blank, the veal chop and the veggie lasagna. So the point is, he had an expectation of what meal he was going to be served, and the flight attendant said, I'm so sorry, we don't have it. His response was to get up and angrily assault the flight attendant and cause such a stir, they had to land the plane in Chicago.
Oh, my God.
Not only did they have to land the plane in Chicago, they had to circle Chicago for an hour to dump fuel so they could safely land in Chicago.
I'd go to jail. I would go to jail the moment we got off the plane. I'd headlock this son of a and just
not
wail
as
on
the
him.
passenger, but as another passenger on the flight. You're saying you'd go to jail.
Yeah, absolutely.
You and me both.
Yeah, I'd be following. And then of course by the time you get off the plane, you have to try and contain yourself. But why isn't there why isn't there just one out of control criminal on every flight where you can just uncuff him from the seat and go, get him, boy, go get him.
I would stop the guy and offer to buy him his chicken Kiev at a restaurant in the destination.
Yeah.
He would sit his ass down.
Yeah.
It was reported it was a customer threat level 1, like DEFCON 1. It was he was going off to that extent, and I'm thinking, again, it's always a slippery slope because I say what I'm about to say, and then a month from now I have an extra glass of wine and I'm the one handcuffed, but. There should be, this guy should have been handcuffed and brought down below the seats where, like, there's those on big international flights. At least in bad movies I've seen, there's a little there's a place where the flight attendants can go to get their own nap. It's like underneath, the plane is so big.
Yeah.
There's a lower level that they have access to with little cots and stuff. Handcuff this dude to a cot.
Yep.
Wake him up and let the Dutch authorities deal with him. They love that.
Throw him a bag of Cheez-Its. See how he likes that.
You're going to Amsterdam. Here's 19 gummies. Ingest them now, dude. I have such little patience for people who freak out on airplanes. It's like we're at 30,000 feet in an aluminum tube, and you're upset about your chicken?
Yeah.
No, sorry, man.
Now, if someone on the plane isn't real, for example, if that's happening, that's different. But yeah, if you're not getting your
that's right.
If you're not getting your right meal,
what was that? That woman on the plane she freaked out because she said that one of the passengers wasn't real.
It wasn't real.
That's difficult. Well, that's a mental break. That's not a rich douchebag.
I'm telling you, I'm getting the off, and there's a reason why I'm getting off, and everyone can either believe it or they cannot believe it. But I am telling you right now that back there is not real, and you can sit on this plane and you can die with them or not. I'm not going to.
Tony, I just got to believe if you're sitting there, part of you is thinking, what if he's not real?
That's the conspiracy theorists are kicking that around and saying that you probably encountered a shapeshifter. So laugh if you
Dude,
will.
yeah, this is a Black Mirror episode.
That is not real chicken Kiev.
It is not real.
Candace, do we have a caller?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it Shelby?
No, I'm trying to get her to call in.
Okay. Who we got?
Wally from Brooklyn Center.
Wally, good morning.
Morning, guys.
What's happening?
I was looking to book a flight back in April. I wanted to go to the beautiful island of St. Croix, U.S. Virgin Islands.
Yeah.
Just checking flights, doing that whole thing, and I was trying to do my damnedest to be that penny pinching Midwesterner that I am.
Yep.
And I noticed that this one connecting flight kept popping up in all of these links. Well, what if I just flew to that connecting flight first instead of going? It was dumb. It was so dumb. And it happens to be a airline that you named in this previous story.
Okay.
So when it came time to book this flight, and I had said, hey, this one leg is so much cheaper. You could just skirt everything else and just go right to this leg. But why is it so much more expensive to fly just from that airport? It was flying out of Orlando to St. Croix was only $128 versus doing the whole rest of the leg. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And they said, you can't do that. We have reasons. They don't give you any reasons for it.
Yes.
But if you booked your own legs
Yeah.
as its own instead of a connecting flight, it was way cheap. It was literally a third of the price.
Yeah.
They said, apparently I got flagged in the system and said, if you book this flight, your tickets won't be valid. So, cool.
Oh, no way.
Oh.
You couldn't that's ridiculous. Oh, that
Fascist
just winds me up. Thank you for the call, man. I'm sorry we got to hop.
Have a great one.
I said I told you guys earlier. I said it on the show. My son and I flew to London this year. He flew from Indianapolis to Minneapolis, and then we flew together. And then the same thing in reverse. His ticket from Indianapolis to London round trip was cheaper than mine from Minneapolis. He had two extra flights. And his ticket was like $400 cheaper. I have a buddy at Delta Airlines. He's an attorney, like senior level attorney guy. I've known him for 30 years. And I mentioned that to him. I said, what is that? He goes, oh, I have no idea. No one knows. Because no one knows why things are priced the way they are. So I was like, all right, well, then I guess I just need to not be wound up about it.
Yeah, they need some AI help over there because there is an algorithm. If you go in and look on my little airline app, I'm going to check this ticket out here, and I check it out. An hour later, I go back, well, maybe I'll buy it now. Why is it $150 more expensive?
Yeah.
Now that I'm going back an hour later to buy it, and I've been told by experienced travelers that, well, there's an algorithm because you checked it out earlier.
Yeah, they say clear out your cache, like delete all of your internet history, clear your cache or cache, whatever that word is.
Yeah.
And then it resets the algorithm. But if you're searching the same ticket repeatedly on the same browser, they'll start raising the price.
Yeah, sketchy. I don't like it. All right, we're going to switch it up here. We'll tell you why mail delivery by the U.S. Postal Service has been suspended in one neighborhood because of a hawk.
What?
Yeah, a hawk has stopped mail delivery in one neighborhood, and we have audio to go with it. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Thursday, July the 13th, or just another day in Texas where people will not be able to get the mail for a very bizarre reason. In a neighborhood in Austin known as Travis Heights, the mail delivery has been temporarily suspended because of a hawk.
Yeah.
A hawk in the neighborhood is dive bombing postal workers and anybody else walking down that street. Yeah, exactly. I've had a blue jay come at me repeatedly on the way to school when I was a kid, and I still can remember the terror of watching a bird that weighed, 9 ounces coming at me. A blue jay was very angry at my brother Doug and I as we were walking to school, at my brother Doug and me. Oh, I hate when I do that. It was angry at Doug and me because it was angry at me, at the Doug. Okay, got it. It was freaking out, and it ran us off. And this is, again, it's a blue jay. A hawk is a whole nother matter. And this thing is dive bombing people left, right, and center to the point where the U.S. Postal Service was like, we can no longer safely deliver the mail. Holy crap.
I know. I think of the talons of those things, you know. If you've ever been up close to a raptor, I got to go out to a raptor center one time and put the big glove on. And they get on the glove and then stare at you. and you're like, wow, you are one badass animal. You talk about evolution, getting it right. This is one of the people lives in the neighborhood. Actually, this nest is out in front of his house. Alfred Del Barrio talking about the hawk.
Imagine walking out of your house and knowing that you're going to get like punched in the back of the head by an animal with like large talons. So it's not ideal. My brother actually said he thought that he was on a run and he thought I punched him in the back of the head, which, I haven't done in 15 years. So I've always been able to dodge it.
That's great.
So I just kind of go underneath my awning, run into my car. So the construction guys, they speak Spanish, and they'd say águila, which means eagle in Spanish. So they'd get dive bombed on their hard hats, and so you just hear the thump of the hard hats on the construction workers.
This is one badass mama. Don't mess with mama.
Man, no kidding.
Oh, I was involved in a hawk death.
In a hawk death?
Death?
I'm haunted by it. I didn't do anything because it's illegal. I just want to make that absolutely clear. I did not kill a hawk.
Okay, but you were involved.
I was involved.
As a witness?
What happened?
So when I was, God, really going back with my life today.
Wait, is this Richfield in the 90s?
This was South Minneapolis. Close. Okay.
Shelby involved?
No, this is before I knew Shelby.
All right.
I was much younger. And the boys in my neighborhood, for some stupid reason, would go catch pigeons. They would trap
all you have to do is
pigeons.
say, you don't have to add in stupid. All you have to say is boys.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that
boys,
was a thing. And they had a pellet gun, and sometimes they, horrible boys. And one time they accidentally got a hawk.
Yeah.
So we had to bring it down to the falls and toss her in. And I'll never forget about
Had to
that.
destroy the evidence.
Yeah, it's,
I know what you did
horrible.
last summer. Kind of one of those deals.
Have a ceremony,
We had it.
respectfully.
I was really disturbed by it for probably about a year.
Yeah,
I don't doubt it.
we like to shoot birds out in South Dakota, pheasants primarily, where I grew up, and we would have all these ding-dongs from down south, that like to hunt quail and doves and that sort of thing. Nothing wrong with that. Love me some good quail and dove. But they'd come up and do, and I remember one guy coming up one time, he goes, I got my 3 birds, limit's 3. And he had a pigeon, a dove, and a hawk. I'm like, have you seen a pheasant before? What are you doing, man? You're just shooting anything that flies, you idiot. My dad suspended him, said, get out of
They
here.
had wings.
Yeah,
And
right.
to that point, this story, this hawk, this is in Texas. If that hawk is still flying 4 weeks from now, then I don't know Texas like I thought I knew Texas.
Right.
Now, they did say 6 or 7 weeks after the hatchlings can fly on their own, the hawk's aggression, mom will be like, all right, they're on their own.
Right.
I kicked them out of the nest. And it'll chill out. But I can't imagine having a 6-week reign of terror in where I live. I bought a house, I'm paying the month, I'm paying it down every month, I'm going to work every day, and now social services have cut us off because of a hawk. Holy crap.
We hear that when turkeys are going through their mating season, especially back east, and I don't have the audio at my fingertips, but I love them back there going, they're terror. They wouldn't let some of the oldsters out of the retirement home, The birds, the turkeys are out there chasing people around, and it's mating season, and we're starting to overlap. Populations are overlapping more and more with, this is some crazy audio. The video's better. I'll try and get it up on the KQ Facebook page. But since we're talking about wildlife, they've got a grizzly out there in Montana that's been getting into chicken coops, So they try to haze them, scare them off, and if they don't do that, it doesn't work. Then they put them in a big steel enclosure, truck them on out into the middle of nowhere somewhere, and they let them out. So you're going to hear a wildlife expert just pounding on the door a little bit to alert this big grizzly bear that the door is opening. They have a camera with a tripod set up as these guys go jump into a safe place, and you'll hear this grizzly bear beelining to the camera and ripping it apart. But the sound you'd never want to hear, and that is close-up grizzly breathing in your ear. Listen to this.
Okay, you're running?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
People that get mauled talk about that. That's a real freaking bear. I mean, if you're out on a trail and hear that, you just you crap your pants and hope that it's a hawk.
You crap your pants and then you lay down and roll around in it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what Shelby did, right?
That's exactly right.
Maybe it was a bear involved.
Doesn't help with bears. They like to eat poop too. They eat gut piles. They love the deer and the elk gut piles out there. They're just nasty, mean animals. But yeah, when wildlife attacks.
Here's speaking of getting your guts ripped out. I'm going to move it up a little to your heart being ripped out. Gen Z. That's the youngsters in the world.
Mm-hmm.
I've got some issues with Gen Z, and first and foremost is about 20% of Gen Z say they've been dumped from a relationship by text. Via text message.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
And they say, no, that's actually the kind way to do it. You avoid an awkward face-to-face. At the end of the day, you're broken up. What does it matter? At least we didn't have to face each other. See, again, no. You got to face each other. You got to be in a room for that. You got to learn. You got to live. You got to treat people like humans worthy of respect. And, I can't stand you, but at least I used to, so I'm going to show enough respect to tell you to your face.
Right. If you make breaking up too easy, then it's just you'll too easily get into casual relationships that you don't give a rat's ass about, and then just shoot them a text and you're out.
Yeah, it's cowardly, and you become inhuman.
It feels cowardly, and it feels like you are inhuman, yes. But there's one thing you could do that's a lot worse, and it's not having Chat GPT take over, but it's actually breaking up face-to-face via video, but you're not doing it. You hire someone on Cameo to do it for you.
A celebrity?
Cameo. You remember Cameo? That's where you can send a birthday greeting from a celebrity, or you can get Smokey Robinson to wish you a happy Chanukah or whatever it is. He didn't know that C was silent.
I know.
But, it's like, hey, this is Steve Gorman from the KQ Morning Show. Just want to say you look great today. And if you want me to send that video to a friend of yours, it'll cost you, $36,000 or whatever they charge. I don't know.
I wanted Gary Busey to wish a friend happy birthday once because I thought he's going to be crazy. Gary
incredible.
Busey's crazy.
Yeah.
But I think it costs like $1,800. And I'm like, sorry, buddy, I don't love you that much.
I had a guy, I was contacted a couple years ago by a guy from Cameo.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally, hey, Steve, you're a public figure. Do you want to, here's a free account, sign up, check it out. And I'm in the habit. People have DM'd me and said, hey, will you send a birthday message to my friend? He saw your band 30 times, and I'll just do it. Of course.
Yeah.
I'm not going to charge money. I felt so gross. But then again, I was not asked to do this. Okay, remember the band Sugar Ray? They had, what was the big hit?
Something in the morning.
One or two.
Yeah.
And then the singer of Sugar Ray, Mark McGrath. Mark McGrath has been hosting one of those Inside Hollywood shows for a long time.
Yeah.
He's a TV guy. He's just a personality. He has a Cameo account, and he was asked to send a Cameo video to someone's friend, if you will. We have the audio. This is real, and Mark McGrath did this.
What's up, Braden? It is Mark McGrath from the band Sugar Ray. This cameo was booked by Cheyenne, and she wants you to know a few things. And this is a little difficult for me to say, but she wants you to know that you mean a lot to her. You mean the world to her.
Nice.
But she's having difficulty staying in this long-distance relationship. It's tough. I've been on the road for years, and I've been with my wife a long time, and the biggest arguments, the biggest, obstacles in our relationships is the distance between us. All the love in the world, and do your best on that thesis, man. I know it's tough in the holiday season and relationships and all that stuff, man. But you got big things ahead of you, bro.
Holy smokes. You got Mark McGrath to break up with your boyfriend.
You're done. But hey, you, what was I going to say? Oh, that's right, thesis. I see it now on my note card. Good luck with your thesis.
Cheyenne wants to break up with you. Now on the silver stage, Cheyenne. I'm sorry, that's not someone's real name. Hey, the 92 KQRS Rock the Boat 80s party. You've heard us talking about it. Well, guess what? It is sold stinking out. The only way on that boat is to win tickets. So keep listening for your chance to do just that. It is Friday, July 21st with Paddleford Riverboats. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that is 1 week from tomorrow, baby. We're going to launch from Harriet Island in downtown St. Paul. It will be a great night of drinks, free food from Lucky's 13 Pub, and live music from Rough House. Keep listening for your chance to win tickets to 92 KQRS Rock the Boat 80s party.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, Candace, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It's Thursday, July the 13th. Friday, November 17th. Holy crap. The Eagles and Steely Dan are playing the XL Energy Center. I love that when they announced this tour a couple weeks ago, and they said, we'll play as much as the demand exists. Tickets aren't on sale. They've already added a second night at the XL Energy Center.
What demand?
That's going to be happening all over the world. This tour is starting in the fall of 23, and I'm going to go ahead and say it will still be happening in 26. Guarantee it.
Wow. Yeah.
People are not going to stop buying tickets to see the Eagles.
I feel like the Eagles are unlike, say, Kiss and everyone, Motley Crue, that have retired over and over and over again. I really feel like when the Eagles hang it up, they're hanging it up.
Yeah. No, they will, and they're gonna make damn sure after as at least 3 years of dates doing so. But the true question is, will they ever hang it up? If they're going to play until the demand wanes, they're just going to keep playing.
Yeah, they might. They might. Well, we said Kiss started their farewell tour, no kidding, in 2000.
Yeah.
I think they claim they've just wrapped it up. But and I was thinking to myself, well, what demand? The tickets haven't gone on sale yet, but they have. If you're one of those Amex holders or in the Eagles Club or something like that, I think they had a pre-sale on Wednesday and then another one on Thursday. So they're, I think, another flying off the shelf like hotcakes, and they haven't even gone to general public yet. So.
Speaking of things flying off the shelves like hotcakes, we mentioned yesterday, Tuesday was Amazon Prime Day.
Yeah.
And now the information's out as far as what were the hot selling items. The hottest item of the year was Temptations cat treats.
Cat treats?
Based on the number of units purchased, which tells me that cats have figured out how to work Amazon.
It's only a matter of time.
Our cat Milo, he loves that very brand. He loves those treats, and he stands across the room, and I throw them, and they hit the floor and slide, and he's like Patrick Waugh. You can't get one past him. He resembles all of the great goalies in the history of the NHL, and he sticks his arm out, left, right, whatever. It's rolling towards him, and then like boom, all of a sudden he shoots that arm out and stops the treat, wolfs it down, waits for the next one. One of the great cat goalies of all time, Milo Gorman.
They have the Puppy Bowl halftime of the Super Bowl. Maybe, during period breaks during the Stanley Cup, we could get something going with cats.
That would be. I'll live stream it. Well, let's start slow. We'll just do a little live stream at the Gorman household. But then, within a few years, we could be onto something.
Copyright that.
Okay, check this out. What do you guys do when you're at a red light that never turns green? Do you have a protocol?
You mean out here on 4th Street?
You're just sitting there, and it never ever changes. What do you do? What do you think to do? Anything?
Well, I mean, sometimes motorcycles don't trip them, so you just gotta check directions, and then you have to rip. You have to rip through it, right?
Look around.
They say if the light never turns green, pull forward or back up a little bit, because the sensors that are buried in the ground, you got to be right on top of them. And to your point, Zip, motorcycles oftentimes don't trip those bad boys up. However, sometimes there's an infrared sensor above the ground, and they say flip your high beams a few times, and it'll trigger. I've never heard that one before.
Me either. All right, so I only have a 2019 pickup. I mean, that's not new, but I can't control it's got the automatic lights on it, which pisses me off when I'm out there and I want to really flat, I want to give someone the high beam. That's satisfying. Right. Hey, jerk water, high beam, and I can't do it. It's automatic. I don't know how to.
This is something I've done my whole life, and I can't not do it. What? When I flick my high beams at someone to let them know their high beams are on, or I don't like them. If I am intentionally putting on the high beams, I make this noise. I do that every time.
Take that.
I cannot not do it. It's unbelievable. Seriously, and Rosemary was like, why do you make that noise? I'm like, I can't help it. It's my gamma ray sound effect.
It's really authentic.
Every time, yeah. No, and it's way more effective. You'll notice if you make that noise, the person will shield their eyes from your high beams.
They'll hold their ears, too.
It's true. It's totally true. They're like, hey, it's coming back. Look out. It's that guy in the Prius again. I used to have a Prius, and I received nothing but mockery every day from my kids. And they would even be like, Dad, you can't make that noise in the Prius. Yes, I can.
You make engine sounds like it's running really cool.
I gave a buddy a ride into my Prius once, and he goes, "What is this? When you put it in reverse, does it beep like a golf cart?" And the truth is, it did. And I put it in reverse, and right away it's like, deep. And he was like, oh, my God, what's wrong with you? I was like, I'm saving a fortune in gas. I don't care what it looks like.
Hey, I got a couple of buddies, they work with their construction workers over the road, and they'll sometimes commute a couple of hours to work, and they're driving around in Prius or the equivalent thereof.
Yeah.
I think only if you drive like a Prius driver, they have that hang up because some Prius drivers are out there, and I'm driving a Prius because I'm better than you, and I'm getting in the left lane and I'm going the speed limit because we're all going to save gas. You don't want to be that Prius driver.
Do you know why I really got a Prius? This is so in 2013 was the last year I spent on the road with the Black Crowes, and I was touring and I was doing a local radio show in Nashville, and so a lot of days on tour, I had to get up and get to a radio studio. So I was renting cars like all the time that year. If it was a longer drive, I would look at the Uber it was new, wasn't really there yet. Taxis were expensive. And so if I had a day off, I'd rent. So all this to say, I rented a lot of Priuses that year. Like probably a dozen times I found myself in a Prius. And the sight lines were amazing. I just felt like I could see. Every time I got into one, I was like, I can see there's not a blind spot.
Yeah.
Looking, I just felt like I had a 360 like periscope around the world. It was a really striking thing.
Yeah.
And I got home and I was like, I'm getting a Prius. And the Gorman family, don't get a Prius. Come on. That's so not cool. I'm like, no, I just love that I can see everything. And they were like, what? See everything? We got windows in every car. I was like, no, it's different. I had a whole the sight lines really worked for me, and by God, I got one. And then after a couple years, I got in someone else's car and drove it, and I was like, God, I miss a real car.
Yeah, it was nice to pass people.
Yeah, it really was. It really was. Yeah, the power mode on the Prius, it's like you go from like a weed eater to a hedge trimmer.
You do that thing where you just kind of buck in your seat, like you're trying to get some momentum going and get it up to speed.
What did the horn sound like?
It was pretty. It was pretty. Meep meep. It was kind of Roadrunner-ish.
Yeah, the whole Roadrunner thing.
Hey, speaking of cars, check this out. If you are interested in meeting up with Candace from the KQ Morning Show, Saturday from 2 to 4 at the Crew for Kids Car Wash at Crew Car Wash on Robert Street in West St. Paul. Candace, that's going to be fun.
Yeah. Come by for a wash. I'll wash you.
Sponges?
Yes, sponges.
Big sponges?
Sponge bath, yeah.
Candace is going to have your chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to the sold-out 92 KQRS Rock the Boat 80s party, plus 50% of the proceeds from the Ultimate Wash go to Big Brothers, Big Sisters the entire day. So wash a car, hang out with Candace. Maybe you win tickets to the Rock the Boat 80s party. That is outstanding.
Well, bring the old truck by. It could use a good...
Yeah.
When is it?
Saturday from 2 to 4 at the Crew for Kids Car Wash at Crew Car Wash on Robert Street in West St. Paul.
All right, hot damn.
Hot damn indeed.
She's going to be wearing knight armor. Nothing suggestive.
right, exactly. I like that. A knight armor. That's, by the way, but that's like my gag gift for the girls. I'm like, just before I die, buy me a suit of armor. There was one for sale in St. Paul for a while, but they wouldn't let me try it on. It looked like my size. I know it.
If you're thinking of making a move, if the Twin Cities have worn out their welcome and you're going, I got to get somewhere out. I need a little bit of space. I just want to move, somewhere where I can stretch out, get a little elbow room. Maybe you're looking southwest to the state of Nebraska. Maybe. I don't know. Stranger things have happened. And maybe about 50 miles outside of Lincoln, Nebraska, you think it'd be kind of cool to live in an old nuclear missile silo. And if you are thinking that, I got good news for you. There's one for sale.
I know a lot of people that would jump on this immediately.
A nuclear missile silo has been converted to a living space, and it is now for sale. A guy named Andrew Flair bought this thing last year. He paid $550,000 for it.
Really?
And now he's flipped it. He's renovated and made it really nice, apparently. And he's asking $750,000. It's a very small town in Nebraska.
Ooh.
And he advertises it as, quote, an opportunity to own a piece of Cold War history.
Well, I mean, there's the Nebraska thing, and let's remember this or think about this. Although, we're all effed if the nukes start flying around the skies, right? We're all effed. But this place is it's the Russians. That's our big enemy. That's who has all the nukes. Do you think they've taken this one off the targeting system? I mean, do you think they know that it's being sold as a house now? I feel like they kind of half-ass it over there a little bit, if you know what I mean. I just feel like that one's still on the targeting system.
These silos are deeper and bigger in the ground than you might think. However, there's only about 1,250 actual square feet of living space. There's an unfinished lower level that's the same size, so you could end up with 2,500 square feet of living space. The entire living space is actually the old control room where they would have launched the missile. The silo itself, you can access through a tunnel. The bottom of the silo is filled with water. That's a problem for me.
Yeah.
1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, a 3-quarter bath, by the way. So a toilet, sink, shower, but no tub. It comes furnished with an oven, a refrigerator, and a microwave. There are some amenities. There's a foosball table in there. There's a popcorn machine.
Foosball.
A projector with a big screen, and you do have Wi-Fi if you set up a Starlink satellite dish outside. Oh, and it's on 6 acres of land. By the way, from the ground level, you will hardly ever, you can't even tell it's there. That's one good thing.
Right.
Nobody can find you unless they know exactly what they're looking for.
Yeah, the working ones have like a little fence around them. If you're tooling out through North Dakota or some spots in South Dakota, even Montana, you'll just see a little square fenced-off area out there. What's that out there? Somebody protecting their garden from the deer?
No kidding.
It's a freaking missile silo. This, by the way, this is Andrew Flair talking about it.
Wanted to sell it as a turnkey. You could literally live down there if you wanted to property, movie theater screen and popcorn machine and foosball table. I thought if you're going to stay underground, you need to have a little extra things to make it feel, more comfortable.
Yeah,
popcorn machine.
I mean, if I was if I win the lottery on Friday, cash out for $1 billion,
right?
Half of that or whatever. I might just buy this thing just to have it there when it all goes to hell.
Sure.
See you guys. I'm heading for the silo.
I was thinking that Gary Larson cartoon. There's the shelter, and she's like, Frank, if I told you to remember one thing, it's a can opener. Frank, can opener.
That's great.
Oh, my God, that would be me in the silo. God dang it.
Oh, man. I've often thought to myself, because I replaced a can opener last year, and the one I replaced was actually worse than the one I was replacing. Like, I got sick of it. It just never grabs on. It doesn't work. And I saw a new one, and I bought it, and it was even flimsier and worse. And then I took a couple minutes, and I thought, what would I do if I didn't have a can? Like, how do you open a can without a can opener? I can get it open, but I can't get it open without spilling all of it. You know what I mean?
Cutting something.
Making a mess, going out to the garage and grabbing that old hatchet that you bought one time and thought, I'm going to need a hatchet at some point. It's cool to have a hatchet. I've used it once. Maybe, but you're right. It would just make a big, huge mess.
So it is. There is a silo for sale if you're interested in Nebraska. The Powerball is going to be up to about $1 billion by the time once Powerball Friday or it's Saturday. It's going to be. I think it's over $800 million now. It'll be probably 900 by Saturday. But don't sleep on the Mega Millions. That sucker's like it's 600 million tomorrow night. It'd be, I'm just saying, we're all talking about other Powerballs that are bit. Well, 600 million ain't bad either. So, it costs you $4 to get one of each if you want. Today is not a lottery day, but it is National French Fry Day. Oh, yeah, baby. And there's a bunch of deals everywhere. McDonald's is giving out free fries all day long. You don't need to purchase anything else. You got to order it through their app, but you get free fries at McDonald's today. Burger King, same thing, only through their app. Wendy's, same thing. Heinz Ketchup has teamed up with Uber Eats on a deal. You can get $5.70, as in 57, Heinz 57, through orders that include fries. There's a bunch of these things going on. But Checkers, the Checkers and Rallies, the little drive-up burger joints, they've got a good thing going right now. They have suggested they have launched a petition to change National French Fry Day, They don't want it to be July 13th anymore. They want it to be instead the second Friday of every month of July. So it's Friday. See what I'm saying?
That is clever.
Doesn't that make sense?
Well, marketing thing. Yeah, you don't. Every day is Friday in America, by the way.
So, quick question, Candace. What's your birth sign? What's your astrological sign?
Aries.
Aries. So you're a shoestring fry gal then.
Oh, I love shoestring fries.
Shoestring fries.
Shoestring
Aries.
potatoes.
Aries is the choice of Aries is the sign for shoestring fries. The width and length of these potatoes serves as a metaphor for the notoriously short fuse of the Aries.
That's garbage.
Does that check out?
Sometimes.
I'm reading a list of, based on your astrological sign, based on your horoscope, we know what kind of fry you are.
I don't know. Those are a little too skinny. I'm a weird girl.
You are a let's see, the short fuse of the cardinal fire sign. Check this. Aries, for all their faults, exhibit no snobbery. And they never shy away from junk, kitsch, or a Midwest casserole topped with packaged fried potatoes. And for this, we celebrate them.
Sure.
All right. Way to go, Candace.
Yes, thank you.
You and your little shoestring French fries. I hope you have a fine day. Zepp, what's your sign?
Well, Steve, I mean business. I'm a Capricorn.
You are. I'm scrolling down. Let me get there. My wife is also a Capricorn. Mm-hmm. And, oh, come on. Your sign? Tater tots.
That's right, baby.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, high five.
Yeah, you are.
Rosemary.
You live by a waste of want not, get rich or die trying approach to money and food scraps. That's fantastic.
Makes
You say
sense.
so. Yeah, but I do like does it? I do like the tots. You know, I take when you have the option at a place, don't you always go for tots?
Oh, by the way, always.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Always. As a kid, I loved tater tots. That wasn't part of the budget in the Gorman household.
Oh.
There's a few things that I still will look on as like this is a special day if there's tater tots on the table.
Put them in your pocket like Napoleon Dynamite.
Man, nothing better. Tony, what's your sign?
Like dear Candace, I'm an Aries.
Oh, so you're a shoestring guy yourself.
But I miss Pisces by a few hours. What does it say?
Oh, well, let's find out. Let's go back up to Pisces. You are so close to being, let's see, that's Taurus. There's Aries. Oh, I missed
here
Pisces.
it is. Oh, it's at the bottom. Sweet potato fries for the Pisces.
All right.
Yeah, that works.
I'm down.
I am a Leo. That would be mid-August. Leo coming in strong. Boardwalk fries. What the hell is that?
It's a boardwalk.
The fries you find on a boardwalk.
I was hoping
yeah.
for a waffle fry.
Yeah, the ones are just laying around at the state fair on the ground. We call those boardwalk fries.
This says Leo is the McDonald's of the Zodiac. While they love a popularity contest, their true spirit speaks not to the mass-produced potato, but to the summertime staple of the boardwalk fry.
Mm-hmm.
Leo rules over the fifth house of pleasure and play, the domain of carnivals and carousels, Ferris wheels and boardwalks, built for a good time and a fast getaway.
Oh,
That's so
All right,
you.
I'm rethinking this whole boardwalk fry thing.
I want to put that on your bio on the KQ Facebook page. Steve
I might-
Gorman, built for a good time and a fast getaway.
I turn 58 next month, and I believe I have finally found my first tattoo. The boardwalk fry on both biceps.
All right, I'm looking at boardwalk fries. So far, by the picture, that just looks like they're in a cup, right?
Yeah, it's just a bunch of it's horse crap. Why cancer gets cheese fries? What's so great about cancer? That's
Nothing.
What Gemini gets curly fries. I like all of these better than the boardwalk plank.
Curly fries.
Yeah,
Shake
curly
Shack has
fries.
great crinkle fries.
Oh, guess where the boardwalk
Virgo.
fry was started? This is going to make a lot of sense to you, man.
It was started. It was on the shores of Lake Michigan in Muskegon, Michigan.
How about Maryland?
See, I started in Muskegon. Where in Maryland, the boardwalk in Ocean City.
The Maryland boardwalk fries, that's where it all started, right
And
there.
I was there when Tricky Dick Nixon resigned from office. So that now it all makes sense.
That's where I was afraid to get in the water during the summer of Jaws.
75,
Yeah.
Sure. I was there in 74 and 75. A little Gorman trip out to what now looks. We look at the family slides and we're like, are we sure this house was up to code? The little beach rental we had. It literally looks like it's being held together with duct tape.
We determined that you and I were out there the same summer. We don't know if it was at the same time, but it was the summer of Jaws. Because my family, a lot of them live in Maryland. And when you're in Pennsylvania and you want to go to the shore, often you end up at the Maryland Boardwalk, which we did.
That was the working title for Bryan Adams' Summer '69. He was going, "That was the summer of '75," and someone said that doesn't sound quite as cool.
No, it just doesn't have that.
I would have been all over the summer '75 as a song.
You know it. Hey, we're going to get into some of these KQRS Facebook posts here before we get to sports and music history
great.
at 9:30. People posting on KQ. If you want to call one in, we've got some time left on the clock. Maple Grove Lock and Safe Talk and Text 651-989-ROCK. Earlier this morning talking about horror stories from Airbnbs or just hotels. We have some great submissions here on KQ. Keep them coming and hang tight.
I'm a weird girl.
It's the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, Candace, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. Thursday, July the 13th. Travel time. It's the summer. People are bouncing all over, taking vacations, getting away. They're staying at Airbnbs, and they are having miserable experiences. Or also hotels. We've heard a few good ones today. The Facebook posts on KQRS Facebook page. There's a few good ones. Yeah, Zep?
Deba. That's what it says here. Deba. Did I get that wrong?
Deba. No, I
Yeah,
got
look
it.
at
Deba.
that. Deba right here. Stayed at a motel in Arkansas. Discovered the TV didn't work. I moved to another room where there's a working TV. Packed up my stuff, head to the new room, start to unpack again. And as I head into the bathroom, I stopped dead. OMG. This is where all the short curlies in the known universe have gone to die.
Oh, my God.
They're everywhere. Sink, counter, toilet seat, bathtub, floor. It's like a million pubes exploded in that one bathroom.
Oh.
They sent someone up to clean. Then the room stunk of cleaner all night. Worst ever. Surprised I didn't have nightmares.
Well, yeah, so you're sharing nightmares with us, though.
Yeah, thank you.
Wow.
Short curlies. Allison, we stayed at an Airbnb in Detroit once. It was an apartment. When we got there, an eviction notice was on the door.
Oh, my God. That's great.
Dennis stayed at a resort in the Black Hills. Their webpage showed a beautiful log cabin, nice grounds. Got there, looked like a trailer park junkyard. No cabins, the dilapidated house trailer. The pictures were of the owner's house that wasn't even on the property. We didn't even get out of the car.
I would imagine not. The very first national tour I was ever on, just outside Boston, we stayed at a place. It was called a Knights Inn, like KNIGHTS, Knights Inn, and their little logo looked like the top turret of like a castle. Knights Inn.
Classy.
Yeah, we got 2 rooms. There's 3 guys in each room. That's how we were rolling. 5 band members and a tour manager. 2 rooms that were adjoining, and I'll never forget walking into one room, and there was no TV. I was like there's not a TV. There's a TV stand, and there's not a TV on it. And I opened the door, the adjoining door, and I go, there's no TV in this room. And as I'm saying that, my bass player's going, there's no phone in this room. So we had 2 rooms, 1 phone, 1 TV for 2 rooms.
There you go.
And this was at a time when you did need that room phone. You still used phones.
Yeah.
And I just thought, man, and all the years since, I've never seen a hotel where you had a room that like the TV, again, the stand is there. We just couldn't get around to replacing it.
Will you be having the telephone suite or the television suite?
You can't have both.
No, not both.
This isn't the future. It's 1990.
How about Bethany? Where I rented an Airbnb in Buffalo, Minnesota. Was told it was rustic with a private outdoor shower. All right. At first, the building we were staying in didn't look bad. It was cozy. Took a bit to find the shower, which was attached to the owner's home right under his living room window and next to the front door. That's where the shower was. Just, was it a hose? We could hear the kids watching TV that night. In the middle of the night, I woke up, looked at my phone with the light, and noticed movement on my pillow. Lots of bugs everywhere on the pillow.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, the shower. If I'm picturing an outdoor shower, I'm picturing something out in the mountains, one of those mountains. You pull the cord and standing on a little wood pallet or something like that. Not coming out of the owner's side of his house, right under the living room window.
Yeah, it's sometimes you just really you have to admit to yourself it's just better not to go anywhere ever.
No place like home.
If you want to go somewhere, it'll be a lot easier if you win either the Mega Millions or the Powerball this weekend. Mega Millions right now $560 million. Powerball 875. By the time Saturday rolls around, it's usually up. It'll be 9 or 920 or something. So those are some pretty big numbers. Makes you think, well, $1 million ain't no big deal.
Yeah.
But it really is, especially if it's your $1 million that you're not claiming. Like someone in Roseville, Minnesota.
What?
Last year, a ticket was sold. A Mega Millions ticket matched 5 of the 6 numbers. Was sold at a Casey's gas station on University Ave in Fridley.
Okay. Know it.
It was 348 days ago. You got 365 to claim the prize.
Oh.
No one has come forward.
Oh, someone's getting into a fight with someone today. Hey, honey, remember that? Where did you, when you cleaned out my vehicle or straightened up at home, there's a... Oh.
You got 16 days to find that Mega Millions ticket from last year. If you don't claim it, then that money will go to roads, bridges, schools, hospitals, any number of things that money will go to.
Now, I've mentioned that I'm terrible at buying. Yesterday, I went out to a convenience store and I went, oh, yeah, I'll get my Powerball tickets because I don't normally do it. I buy them when it hits the news cycle.
Right.
When you have zero chance of winning. So I thought, well, I'll stop. And then I did the old, put a bit of fuel in the truck, grabbed this, and away I went and forgot the damn tickets. So I think to myself, and often I don't even check them. Mm-hmm. But if you won that $1 million in Roseville, that's not something they're probably going to announce on the news. This person lost it, misplaced it, whatever, just didn't pay attention to it like I wouldn't have. And then I'm hearing it this morning in 340. Could you find something you misplaced almost a year ago?
No, especially not a wafer-thin piece of paper like that.
It's so gone. I mean, I don't clean out my truck very often. There's a chance. I'm sure there's a couple of...
You know what happened to that ticket is someone bought it, they went home, and their significant other was like, stop wasting money on these damn lottery tickets. And they tore it into 1,000 pieces right there.
Man, what's the most you've ever spent? So the lottery tickets, Powerball, Mega Millions comes around. You're like, that's it. I'm winning. I got to win. You got to play. And don't give me that one ticket crap.
Oh, the most I ever bought? Like
one time.
$1,800?
Really?
No, I'm kidding.
Crazy,
of course.
man.
I know a gal that plunked down $3,000, emptied her savings account.
Oh, come on.
She said, I did the odds and blah, 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 blah. I was clicking around. She goes, if I just buy as many as I can, I think I've got a pretty good shot at this. And that time I remember it was about $180 million. I remember talking about that because after taxes, the whole thing ended up 90 or something like that. 90 million. I thought, okay, but $3,000, and of course she did not win.
But surely she won $6 or $8,
No.
or not a single thing from all those tickets.
Not even the $10,000 winner. Nothing. Nada.
Man, I mean, I've bought Powerball tickets in the past, and I look, and it's like you match two numbers. It's like worth $8 or something. It's like, okay, well, that's something.
Yeah,
I've got that. I just bought more Powerball tickets with it.
It feels like that's what you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
My former band, the Black Crowes, we were in a recording studio in L.A. in 2009. And one of the lotteries was really high, and a guy that worked for the band said, "Okay, everybody pitch in $10, and we'll go get a bunch of tickets." And so everyone threw down $10, or maybe it was even 20, but he got just a fat stack of tickets, and the winning number. There was the six band. It was like, I guess there was 8 of us, and he did the math, and he said, "Okay, so if we win after taxes, like everybody's gonna have $10 million." And I said, "So you're saying the band will break up?" And everybody went, "Oh hell yeah, yeah! If the universe gives us all 10 million, we will never play music together again." It was the first thought everyone had. Oh yeah, we can finally end this hellscape. Didn't happen.
What if you really truly had one of those backbreaking jobs, say shoveling asphalt in the hot heat?
Yeah.
But you only had 3 years to retirement, Steve. We were talking about this off the air. That's why.
I know a very dear friend of mine, her first cousin won the Powerball years ago. And it was after taxes. It was 50 or 60 mil. It was a lot of money. And my man just got up the next day and went right back to work and finished his job, had a few more years to go. And he said, "I'm not giving up this pension. I've worked hard for it."
And
we're working for the
road
county,
crew.
like working, road crew, various jobs for the county.
Oh, okay, I get it. You've been working for that thing for 30, 40 years, but you're out there. Can you imagine day 2 out in the hot sun shoveling asphalt? I'd be like, you know what? Actually, we don't
on
need
second
it.
thought,
I don't need it.
You'd have such a better attitude at work, though. Everything would be so much more pleasurable.
No.
Shoveling hot asphalt.
Sure,
in the
you'd lap
sun?
your way through it.
No, that's not true. No, you would have a better attitude.
Yeah.
Sure,
the next
treat
day.
your buddies to
Zepp,
lunch.
Me and Zepp would be like, I'd be like, screw this. I got 60 million. I'm going to it's time for me to move into middle management.
Right. This is a fun job. I have a blast doing this job. I feel like I've cheated the man most of my life doing this job. But the first time the alarm goes off at 3 o'clock in the morning, suddenly I'm not doing this job if I have 60 mil in the bank. And that was their walkaway money, by the way. Steve mentioned 60 mil walking away. But he's going to do 3 more years. That's quality life in your 60s, you know, at late 50s, early 60s, wherever he was at in his life. He needed 3 more years for the pension. 3 quality years, and you're going to duke it out every day. And your pension pales in comparison to the 60 mil in the bank.
Hey,
no
but you know what?
Way.
Still kicking all these years later, still doing a lot to make other people's lives easier.
Yeah, well, I don't even want to work with that guy. Don't come out here and shovel hot. You know why I'm doing it? Because I'm trying to eat and pay the bills, okay? You know why you're doing it? Just, you know, for kicks and no.
You're just trying to prove a point.
No.
That's all I need. Someone showing up and riding their moral high horse into this work site. Yeah! Yeah! All right, let's look back. How about a history lesson? It is July the 13th, and on this day in 1972, fans of the Baltimore Colts like myself had no idea what we were getting into when we heard that our team owner, Carol Rosenblum, owner of the Baltimore Colts, traded the Baltimore Colts for the Los Angeles Rams. Robert Irsay owned the Rams. Carol Rosenblum owned the Colts. And they said, let's just trade teams. You take mine, I'll take yours. And they did it. And they were allowed to do so. Wow. Can you imagine right now? What if you woke up tomorrow and you were like, the Minnesota Vikings and the Green Bay Packers have traded themselves to each other? Like, I mean, what a weird thing. Like, nothing changed. No roster changes, no coaching changes, nothing other than the very guy at the top of the call sheet, if you will. The owner of the Colts, tomorrow, he's the owner of the Rams and vice versa. What a weird thing.
You know what would make that remarkable is Green Bay's municipally owned. Yeah, no, they're
that would, of course. That would,
suddenly Minneapolis owns the Vikings.
That'd be pretty good.
Yeah.
The KQ Morning Show, 92 KQ.